Alrighty, folks. Good Friday. Happy Easter. So I'm going to do today, this is take 5 because I started talking about Jesus so much that the whole video would have been a preach. I'm going to do the key of G, and I'm going to talk about the benefit of learning the 7 scale positions in a key. Now, I've done it in E, I've done it in D, I've done it in F. It doesn't matter what key you do it in, this principle's the same. You got in G major, and if you play the pure major, that has an Ionian. They call the mode of it if you're playing something pure. Then it's kind of Ionian flavor, the jam, if that's what you're doing. And then so the first position, we're going to stay with all the same 7 notes. There's only 7 notes in the major scale. That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then it repeats. Of course, we always resolve on the root note again, so there's 8. If you do that, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, So, but the second position is, so that's Ionian if you just do. Your second position, it doesn't matter what key, we're just using G as an example, will be Dorian. And in this case, it's A Dorian. Supposed to do it like this. A lot of people move over, and it doesn't matter as long as the notes are right. I learned to play it in one block, so. When I solo, if I'm playing to a chord progression that calls for that Dorian flavor, like, or you could have anything that's in G, but leaning on that A minor chord. And you can mix in your minor pentatonic. So the Dorian flavor, that's your second, where your mode, that mood is just a note you start with an end on. Staying with the same 7 notes, the next one up, so you got Ionian, Dorian, and remember, that Ionian's all in all 7 blocks. That Dorian's in all 7 of the scale blocks. You just lean towards that A note for the Dorian to the A note, kinda, yeah. You could even mix in, like I said, a little pentatonic and leave out one of these notes. You could go, and that's got a Dorian flavor to it. So it doesn't, if you just go, but the whole thing is, but a lot of times when I'm creating, I don't play the full Dorian. I might just do part of it pentatonic and part of just one of them notes in there. Either this one added to the pentatonic, or, it just gives it that flavor. So there's no strict law of you gotta only play these notes. You could, and then, so the third block up would give you the Phrygian flavor. And in this case, it's starting with the B note. Everything here is from the Do, Re, Mi of G major. So I'm just continuing using the same notes that I started with, only starting with the third note of it. That's a Phrygian flavor. So I'd sit down and watch shows like a movie, or I sometimes watch the show Pawn Stars. They got a lot of old reruns on. And I listen to the music in the background. I'm like, boy, just hearing them grooves, I know what they're playing. Most of those are rock, though. On Pawn Stars, like... It's all that kind of stuff for the most part. But I hear it and I go, I could do a CD just off of stealing those little grooves, because they're not copyrighted grooves. They're just a groove. And they're very cool. But I can hear when I'm watching movies and different things, I'm like, oh, that sounds like C major 7, D minor 7, whatever. And I got usually this guitar sitting there because I don't have an amp upstairs, and I'll pick it up and I'll go, yeah, that's what it is, because I've learned these scale blocks and I know what a certain modes, not 100%, but overall, a lot of times I can pick up on what mode something is, and then I know what scale blocks you can use for all those. It's in my head, you know. So anyways, after the B Phrygian flavor, now if I go down the B Phrygian and I start at the G and go to the G, you'll hear G Ionian. You know, so it's a note you're starting with an ending on. So again, all 7 modes from the key of G are in that block, in each one of the blocks. The next one up would be Lydian. So you always would have Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, which is natural minor, and Locrian, which is a diminished flavor. But they can be used for a lot of other things. Metal, it's unlimited. You know, you create a groove is a groove, and if it sounds good, it is good. But this is basic, kind of, I call it fact, not theory. These are the notes. I'm playing the same 7 notes I started with, only I'm starting with the next note up in each one of these blocks. So C Lydian. Now you can play it any which way you want. You start with the root note and you can go this way. You know? What? What? Go ahead. And then you go to the D. This is the key of G, and it's Mixolydian there. The Lydian and Mixolydian almost sound like the major scale, very close. There's only one note off, I think, in here on the D Mixolydian from D major. That note there. The only difference is I would play this one for a pure D major. D Mixolydian. Now from learning them blocks, I can play any modal flavor I want. If it's in the key of G, I could play it in any key because I can move all this to any key. It's all the same. It's all the same. You're going to have an Ionian, a Dorian, a Phrygian, a Lydian, a Mixolydian, and they got a shape to them. I've learned those, got the shapes in my mind. I can play them in F, F sharp, C sharp, E major, whatever. It doesn't matter. I can play it up in any key. All I do is move all of that. And then you come from the D Mixolydian. What? To E natural minor or Aeolian. So you got Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian. your natural minor is E out of the key of G. I created something goofing around with that one day, a few years back. I was just sitting there playing an E minor, but thinking G major, because this E minor chord, there are E minor chords in other keys too. So is it E Phrygian? Is it going to be E Dorian? Or is it going to be E natural minor? So, you know what I mean? So I determined that if I goof around with a chord idea, in this case I did. That's a whole nother one that goes A minor. That's a whole long song. This one. Just those kind of things. And the other one that I do, I go back and then to A minor. Just goofing around with a certain key with chord groove ideas, very simple. And I know I can, for any of them chord ideas, I can run all over the fretboard and all them 7 scale blocks, and they repeat themselves, and just play and lean towards that Aeolian flavor. But avoiding going E to E all the time. That gets old, like real quick. So you can't keep going just E to E, E to E. You got to do tension and stuff. I never landed on an E to resolve, but all that can play perfect over there. And you can go and resolve if you want to. It's how you want the track to feel, in the end. But the point about learning the 7 scale blocks is when you come up with a chord idea, you don't have to search in the dark for ideas. You got all them scale blocks. You know exactly where they are. Any block I want and just play what I want to hear and intentionally create a certain feeling, but I'm never searching in the dark for note ideas. I might search for a specific phrase, but I'm not searching in the dark ever because of learning those scale blocks. And then again, we're just using G major and touching on them blocks, but there's a gazillion other things in there. You could play off the F sharp and have that diminished feel. And play all through them blocks, giving it that flavor, and just lean towards that mode or mood or flavor. So that's all I'm saying today is learning your scale positions. Pick a key and learn those 7 scale positions. Then you'll be able to play intentionally Dorian flavor, Lydian flavor, Mixolydian flavor, Phrygian flavor, natural minor, all those things without searching in the dark for it. And then when you get those shapes down from one to another, so well you recognize what the shape is from one to the next, you can move all that to any key. You can play metal style, you can pull out of there, every style there is on the planet. It all comes from those places, really, when all is said and done. Have a good day, folks.